Okay, so what is a franchise and what do you need to know? So here's what we're going to cover in this module. What is a franchise? What is the opportunity with franchises? And we'll just go over some really fascinating numbers behind franchises. And so if you've ever heard the phrase, numbers don't lie. So there are over 790,000 franchise units in the United States alone. And by the way, if you see any asterisks here, these are just referencing where that I got the data from a source. And so franchising currently employs over 8.4 million people in the United States. Its economic output in the United States economy is over $825 billion. And so I feel like the data points are important to understand the scope of the opportunity in franchising. And, this is one of the reasons why I say that franchising is the most proven business model in history. And not because I'm in love with franchising. It's just because the data shows it. And so franchising, what is franchising? It's the right of individuals to apply a company's business model for a specific time frame by using its trademarks, including business names, logos, slogans, and anything else used to identify the businesses and the goods and service they provide. So what is that's franchising. I'm sorry. What is a franchise? A franchise is a type of license that then grants a franchisee access to the franchisor's proprietary business knowledge, processes, trademarks, allowing the franchisee to sell a product or service under the franchisor's business name. And in exchange for acquiring a franchise, the franchisee usually pays the franchisor an initial startup fee and annual licensing fees. Now, if you're not familiar with some of these terms, we'll go over that shortly. A franchisor is the company that owns the trademarks and proprietary system for operating businesses and gives individuals the right under a limited agreement to run businesses using those trademarks and following those operational guidelines. So here's an example that everyone knows, which is McDonald's. So McDonald's is the franchisor, and someone who owns a McDonald's is a franchisee. And McDonald's allows franchisees the contractual rights to use its logos, its intellectual property, its operations manuals, its marketing, etc., through a franchise agreement in exchange for an initial franchise fee that the franchisee pays, and they pay ongoing royalties, a percentage of sales. Now, the cool thing is most people think about just food franchises. That's what pops into most people's head. But there are a lot of other industries and categories. So you can see that that business services, commercial and residential services, lodging, personal services, you can see the breakdown of franchise establishments, which is pretty cool to see. And you can see that, obviously quick serve restaurants has the highest amount there at 196,000. But there's also so many other categories, and we'll actually go into more later on into the program. So examples of franchises: McDonald's, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, Dunkin' Donuts, all ones that you've heard of. Ones that you may not have heard of: Ace Hardware is a franchise. Budget Blinds is a franchise. ServPro. Most of the hotel brands that you see are franchises. Planet Fitness, Pet Supplies Plus, Valvoline, Jiffy Lube. The Goddard School, which is a daycare. Monster Tree Service. Lawn Doctor. We already said Jiffy Lube. College Hunks Hauling Junk. Redbox Plus. Pods. These are all examples of franchises. And so maybe you knew that, maybe you didn't, but it's representative of there's a franchise out there for everyone. And so if all your perspective is looking at just food franchises and the ones that you've heard of, then you're probably limiting yourself to better opportunities. Now that we know what a franchise is, and really the insane numbers around the amount of franchise that exist and the massive amount of money that they produce in our economy, what are the most important terms that you need to know in franchising so that you can make educated decisions and not lose your shirt? Well, let's answer that question now in the next video.